Hello debutantes, it's Kelly here and it's time for another episode of Don't Get Pinstressed. Today we're making a super easy project. It can be ready for Valentine's Day with no problem. The longest thing is just the wait time to let the stain in the paint dry. So let me show you what we're making. We're making this cute plaque. The title on Pinterest says The Key to My Heart. So let me show you everything we need and what my inspiration was, and we'll go ahead and create this Key to My Heart plaque. Okay, so let's look at our inspiration and everything we're going to need for this project. So here's my inspiration. This is from Love Grows Wild. It's the Key to My Heart rustic wood sign, and as you can tell, this is on Pinterest. So this is our inspiration, and I will link this down below so you can look at this for yourself. But there are lots of this Key to Your Heart type of design on Pinterest. See some other ones. Like this one is a little bit different, but they're all pretty much wood, paint, all those different types of things. So you can type in Key to My Heart on Pinterest and you will see lots of different designs. This one is kind of cool. So that is our inspiration on Pinterest. So let me show you everything that you're going to need. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. First, you're going to need some stain if you want to stain your wood. This is a piece of wood that I was using for a separate project, and it is unfinished, but it is sanded down smooth. So you're going to need some type of stain. This is just something I have handy. This is Cabot Pecan or Pecan, however you say it, and there's just a little bit left in there. I like to use a paint key. This works really well to get right underneath that lip and pull it, much better than a screwdriver. And these, sometimes you can get these free at Home Depot if you just ask them, oh, can I have a paint key? But they're less than $1. The good thing about the paint key, I learned from my father-in-law, who is a professional painter, this is a bottle opener. So you can open any type of bottle that you would like. So I use a paint key. Gloves, because you do not want to get stain all over your fingers. That is not going to be cute on Valentine's Day to have grubby looking stain hands. A brush to apply the stain, paper towels to wipe it off, which I do not have here, but I will grab those. You're going to need whatever color paint you want to use to paint your heart. I'm using this antique white from Apple Barrel. You can use red. You can use anything that matches your decor. I just really like the look of the stain with the creamy white color, so that's what I'm using. You will obviously need a brush to paint your heart. You will need a pencil to trace your heart pattern. Now, all I did was I looked at my wood and I cut out a pattern that I thought would fit my wood nicely, and you can see I just cut it out of a piece of notebook paper, nothing major. And then the last thing you're going to need is some type of skeleton key. Now, these I just bought at Michael's. Was $1.50 in that little front section, and they have different styles. I just happen to like this style. So now you're obviously gonna need a piece of wood. This is a 1x6. I like this because it stands up on its own, but you could definitely use any piece of scrap wood that you have. It could hang on the wall. I just like this because it's sat up, and I like to put things on my dining room shelves, which I showed you in my Valentine video. So any type of wood that you need, pallet board, any type of scrap, you're going to decide on the size of your heart. It can be big, it can be small, so don't get caught up in the size of the wood. So the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to stain this piece of wood. I'm going to move my laptop out of the way. You really shouldn't shake stain. It should be stirred because it will get bubbles. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to give it a stir. I'm going to stain my wood by just applying it with this brush, and then I'll wipe it off with a paper towel until I get it the color that I want. So let me go ahead and do that, and I will be right back with you. we have our piece stained. Now we want to transfer our heart pattern to the wood, and you just lay this on here anywhere you want. See where you like it. You can put the key different places and kind of play with your design. I think I'm pretty happy with something like that. As you can tell, I protected my surface with paper. I forgot to mention that. And I save all of the paper that comes with my Amazon or anything that gets shipped to me because it's free and it covers beautifully. So, and the other thing I forgot to tell you is you're going to need a screw or a nail or glue to secure your key to your board. But that's kind of common sense. So what I'm going to do is I like where I have my heart. So I'm just going to take a pencil. This is a mechanical pencil, and I'm going to trace this. I don't want to do it too dark. I am going to try and cover the line with the paint. So you just want to make it so that you can see it. You guys are probably not going to be able to see it on film. So I am just going to trace this heart, and then I'm going to use my apple bear paint and paint it. All right, I have 2 coats of paint on my heart. It's not super perfect, and what I ended up doing is I couldn't even see the pencil mark, so I just used a piece of white chalk, traced around the heart, and I could see that much better, and then I just wiped the chalk away when I was done painting. Now, I'm not crazy about how solid this color is. I want it to be a little bit more antique, so I just have a piece of sandpaper, and I'm just going to lightly sand over that color. Just rough it up a little bit, make it look a little bit more antiqued. Show the wood through in some places. I am sanding with the grain. So you can see, you can start seeing the wood through. And right here it's come through. Let me bring it up a little closer. Can you see that? So I'm just gonna give it a little bit more of a sanding and get it to the exact look I want, and then we will move on to the next step. All right, I have it all sanded down the way I liked it, and because I'm kind of in a hurry and I sanded, the paint was still a little wet, this part of the board got a little bit lighter. So all I did was I took the stain brush, I didn't add any extra stain, just what was left over it, and I did a real light coat over top, and then I wiped it off with a wet rag, and this is what it turned out looking like, and I like it. I think it looks really old and antiqued. So I did that, and I wanted to give you a quick tip. Now this is good on any type of wood project that you're working on. Sometimes when you stain wood that has been sanded down, is nice and smooth, it will raise up the fibers, and it won't really give you splinters, but it'll have a rough texture. If you take a brown paper bag, now this is just a piece of lunch bag, and you take it, you can kind of burnish over top, and it will smooth out any of those fibers that may have been raised. It will give it a little bit of a burnished look. But that's all you need, is a little piece of brown paper bag, and you can just smooth out that wood surface. Now this isn't really sanding because it's so super fine, it's just kind of knocking down any of that. So that is a good tip, brown paper bag. So now all we have left to do is to attach our key. So we have to decide where we want that, and I think, let me look at it here, let me get straight on. I think I like that. What do you think? Think that's a good spot? Maybe I'll move it over a little bit. I'm trying to get you centered so you get a really good look. I think I like that, looking into the viewfinder of the camera. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a hammer and a nail, and right where I want the key, I'm gonna just kind of get a hole started with the nail. I'm not gonna use the nail, I'm actually gonna use a little screw but the little hole that I made with the nail will help start the screw. Now the screw is a little bit bigger, so I had to wiggle the key around a little bit. So I think I'm just gonna get this started, maybe. And you just really have to push down and screw that in. So what I think I want to do before I get that completely attached is I want to put a little bit of E6000 on my key and secure it with a little, because you don't want it doing this. So let me take a break, find my E6000, and I will be right back with that secured. All right, I found my E6000. As you can see, I just put a little tiny bit on the long leg of the key. So now I'm going to try not to get this all over my fingers. I'm just going to put it right back over the screw, and before I just drop it down, I'm going to line it up right where I think I want it. I think that looks good. So now all we have to do is tighten the screw back down, and we are pretty much done with this project. Now obviously you're going to wait for your E6000 to dry and all of that. So there, your project is, well, can't even see it. It's pretty much complete, all done. Now I just added a little extra something on the back because this is going to be a little bit of a Valentine's Day present. I wrote a Bible verse on the back. It's kind of dusty. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Ruth 1:16. You have the key to my heart, now and forever. So there you go. Don't get Pinstressed. This is an easy, sneezy, key to my heart Valentine's Day gift.